In this video, we discuss how Jake Paul became one of the biggest boxers of 2021.
He's he's one of the biggest stars in the sport now. He is,
Yeah,
honestly.
and honestly, he came off 2020 with a huge viral highlight reel knockout against Nate Robinson, which obviously he's a basketball player, so it didn't really mean much, but the fact that he has knockout power like that was proven in that fight. Of course, we saw that against Tyron Woodley. So, yeah, I mean that was a huge knockout against Nate Robinson that really brought his momentum into 2021, and he just didn't stop. He went straight into a fight with Ben Askren, knocked him out in the first round. 3 months later, he's in the ring again with Tyron Woodley, and he gets the decision win. And then another 3 months later, he's in the ring with Tyron Woodley again and puts on that performance. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to give him credit for what he's doing in the sport right now, how he's been promoting himself, how he's came into the year with the momentum of the Nate Robinson fight, calling out guys like Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, Ben Askren, obviously Michael Bisping, people like that, Dana White, of course. So, I mean, he's really promoting himself. He's marketing himself well, and he's done a great job this year of promoting himself and just
Yeah.
getting his name out there. Whether you love him or hate him, you're paying attention to Jake Paul.
And then the main thing that's pretty much been allowing him to like just sustain the hype super consistently is the fact that he's always making buzz. He's always making news. He's always calling out these different guys like Jorge Masvidal, Conor McGregor, even other boxers, and he's just creating buzz for everything. And that's why his pay-per-views are big, is because there's so much hype surrounded with it, with the social media aspect of it, and also from his highlight reel knockouts, and especially with this Tyron Woodley knockout that just he just
Yeah,
got. It's gonna
and
be
and the
even
momentum.
bigger his next fight, whether that be against Tommy or Jorge Masvidal or whoever. It'll be huge.
Yeah, and the momentum he's building. I mean, he's and another thing is he's being very active. He's been more active this year than a lot of actual real pro boxers. So you got to give him credit for putting on a show and getting out there training and going through tons of training camps throughout the year and actually working hard. He's not taking the sport as a joke, and you got to give him credit whether you love him or love to hate him.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the biggest stars in boxing right now, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to continue this momentum onto 2022. Of course, just came off a huge win over Tyron Woodley, so
And
super exciting, super bright future to look forward to there. And yeah, he's making so much noise in not even just the boxing world, but the MMA world. He's making people in the MMA world care for him. He's making people from the UFC, Dana White, those people are talking about him now because he's calling out these guys like Conor McGregor. Maybe maybe Conor McGregor's not responding and he hasn't responded ever to
yeah,
any of
but
Jake
still,
Paul's
it's
call
still
outs,
hype
but
in social media.
it's still people caring and it's still people paying attention. And yeah, it's just he's doing great.
Yeah, and the most interesting thing about Jake is he has the capability of creating buzz, whether it's a in-ring highlight or something, or out-of-ring mischief that he pulls off. Like when he took Floyd Mayweather's hat, that blew up. It was huge, and that really propelled his brother Logan Paul's fight with Floyd Mayweather really big. And in a way, on that press conference, they stole the show, which is how big of a moment it was. And Jake just being the great promoter and marketer he is, even was just upping that up by making that his catchphrase for so long, and you made merch
Yeah, he
with
sold
gotcha hat
hats.
on
He literally
it.
sold
Like,
hats.
it just shows like
Amount of money he probably made off those too, with all the
yeah,
momentum of the gotcha
huge.
hat movement, and
Yeah.
like he's a genius marketer, and people are gonna discredit him just because people don't like what he stands for or what he's doing in the sport, but he's definitely one of the biggest boxers right now, and he's making a huge buzz, making people care about him. So yeah, that he's definitely one of the biggest boxers in 2021, which is crazy to say. I
Yeah.
mean, who would have expected this a couple of years ago? Jake Paul, the guy who's making some cringe YouTube vlogs, is now become one of the biggest prize fighters in the combat sports world.
And he has
Like,
so much more potential because with each fight, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Just like you
yeah,
can just see from
especially with
before.
all his knockouts.
Yeah, like from the Anyson Give fight, he knocked them out. It went huge. Then he moved on, and then moved on, and then moved on until where we are now, to Tyron Woodley, where he knocks him out cold, something no one expected. And this could be. We know how viral the Nate Robinson knockout was. This is probably will be even more viral. than that
Yeah, because
knockout,
it's a real
which is
fighter,
huge. Yeah, exactly.
and
It's
it's someone
just
who's a
the
veteran.
difference in
It's not
skill.
it's
This is
not it's not
Tyron
a
Woodley.
joke. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
this is a
Tyron Woodley.
five-time UFC champion compared to a retired NBA player. So the size of the different events are completely different, and it also goes to contribute towards Jake's skill improving and improving with each fight as well, since especially he's a young athletic fighter. So we're getting to properly now see that with each fight he's really starting to improve, and with that all the hype that he's gaining and all the pay-per-views, and it's just going to lead to bigger and to bigger, and we'll see if it's ever gonna if it's gonna be stopped anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean there's a reason all these legends of the sport are getting behind these guys. You know, Mike Tyson, Vander Holyfield, even Canelo's has, obviously had a back and forth with Jake, but he doesn't really mind it because they're bringing new eyes to the sport. At the end of the day, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, all of these guys have come out and said that they they're not doing bad for the sport because they're bringing new eyes, and they're doing well for the sport and doing well with what they can. So I mean, Jake Paul becoming one of the biggest fighters of 2021, you got to admit it because he put on some big shows and he did well.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This clip is taken directly from our Punch Plan podcast, which you can check right now on your screen. And don't forget, be sure to like and subscribe and check out our other videos if you enjoyed.